And he brings me to this portion of his book that's called Elders and the Sacred. hmm If people in the West embraced the idea that the elder is at the edge between two worlds and is therefore a window to the other world as well as a mirror of it, certain of the West's social problems would be solved. One of them is the rejection of aging and the elders, which puts the culture at risk. The other is the West's relationship to the sacred. There is no doubt that in Western culture, the fear of aging has become quite acute. People certainly have many reasons to think the old age is not something to look forward to. But in light of what has been said about elders in an indigenous African context, one could explain Western fear of old age as linked to the sense of uselessness. If in Western society people would find ways in their old age of spending their abundant time with their grandchildren, perhaps this would raise the appreciation of old age and pave the road for a more sacred approach to being old. For if to get old is to get close to the ancestors, then old means that which is closest to the sacred. If a culture rejects the sacred, it rejects elders. If it rejects elders, it rejects the welfare of its youth. You can't have the one without the other. It is understood in the village that youth and the elders are the ones in society who see clearly what is happening. The young are at an age where the hidden is obvious to the eyes. They want to point it out because they do not know how to pretend it is not there. To be young or old in the modern world is to be at risk. People who wish to embrace their elderhood must first listen to the pain around them. They must notice in the young and the adult the parts that are craving visibility. We must learn how to sit quietly with our youth and to listen quietly to what they have to say. This is the job of elders. This calm, almost meditative approach to youth can also be a model for self calming to other people who are too troubled to be quiet. Calmness is the beginning of the ability to hold the space, the beginning of an elder's contribution to the community. I smile something fierce right now because I just did a recording about this while in the car today about the importance of the young people being amongst the elders and the elders being around the young people. And here I was, went in my closet, and I decided that I wanted to sing. I ran from the front of my house, ran into my little studio closet that I made up, and something said, grab something to put on, something sacred. So I put on my African clothing. I said, wait a minute. The cloth doesn't really fit my head, but as I tied it on my head, I said, you know what you want to do. And so I sat down here and I grabbed the book by one of my favorite elders that I will always respect, whose books I read a lot to you on Instagram. I always do. The Healing Wisdom of Africa. This is one of the first books that I put on my Instagram page to talk to you about. And something said, read this and just open it. I want to show you what I want to share with the people. And I'm not surprised because this is what happens. Whatever's in your spirit, Once you make yourself available, right, whatever's trying to speak through you will show itself and will confirm something to you. Like, I was talking about this in the car today, the importance of elders. And what happens? I open the page and it says elders and the sacred. So our elder, Malidoma Patrice Some, wants to remind you of the importance of the elders in our community. So he says, if people in the West embrace the idea that the elder is at the edge between two worlds and is therefore a window to the other world, as well as a mirror of it, certain of the West's social problems would be solved. One of them is the rejection of aging and the elders, which puts the culture at risk. It puts it at risk because we reject the elder being old, getting older. The other is the West's relationship to the sacred. I mean, this is all, we're in jeopardy of losing the sacred because of the way we dishonor our elders. We do not acknowledge our elders. I do, but the West doesn't. So he says, there is no doubt that in Western culture, the fear of aging has become quite acute. Look at my grays. I have grays screaming out there trying to pop out of here. And look at my wrinkling, my little cracks. And I didn't have that when I was in my 30s, and I wasn't supposed to. I didn't have it when in my 40s, and I wasn't supposed to. But I have them in my mid 50s, and why not? Why not? Everybody wants to be young forever. When do you let it go? If in Western society people would find ways in their old age of spending their abundant time with their grandchildren, perhaps this would raise the appreciation of old age and pave the road for a more sacred approach to being old. Look, for if to get old is to get closer, close to the ancestors, then old means that which is closest to the sacred. Why is that so hard to embrace? Why are people so afraid of that which they came from and to that which they will return to fully? Because we're like kind of on both sides right now. But one day we will be fully on the other side. Right now I'm an elder and I'm embracing my eldership as younger people are drawing closer to me for the wisdom that has kept me for these 50-something years. And so the road has been with eyes wide open, spirit wide open, ready to receive whatever wisdom and guidance that's for me along the way. I've always sought the wisdom and direction of my elders, and they have never failed me. Because that you seek, that you will find. Malidoma Patrice Some speaks, and he had some healing wisdom that he wanted to share with you, and I just made myself available. So I hope you were able to receive that which I wanted to impart unto you, or I chose to impart unto you by way of Malidoma Patrice Some. So peace and love. Continue the journey, searching, digging deeper. Thank you for listening.